I don't think, I'm not sure about that, but anyway.
Welcome, Wednesday, the 11th of June, the Culture, Tourism and Committees meeting. Thank you everyone for attending. Do we have apologies for absence?
Absolute Chair.
And any declarations of interest, please? No. Councillor Gilbert is joining the committee, Ian, I believe, but we had an agreement, if you remember, every other meeting we were going to do an evening session to include her because she can't do the daytime sessions. Is everyone still all right with that if the next meeting next month is in the evenings?
It's going to be a Tuesday, 6:30, isn't it?
What date will that be?
That would be. So would that be the second Tuesday, the third Tuesday of next month?
Second.
First one is full council, isn't it?
Right, so the 8th would be full council, so the 15th of July?
Tuesday.
15th, yeah.
6th.
15th of July at, are we agreeing 6:30? Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we approve the minutes of the previous meeting? Okay, Rob, all agreed?
Yeah.
Right, just an update on actions from the previous meeting. We have got a couple of things which are actually already on the agenda, and that is St David's Day as an action point. And another action point still was, I don't know whether there's budget in here for the cheese and wine evening to action, which we pushed back till after Mumbles Fest, if we still wanted to do that or not. And I guess find out what money.
Well, Paul's preparing, our RFO's preparing the budget for the next financial year. So maybe that's part of that.
Yeah, and there might be some left over from the Honour of Mumbles, so we didn't use the full budget for that.
Something to think of, with really limited money, cheese and wine. How many people will go to it? And is it worth putting money into that because of that?
Yeah, I think only if we could get it sponsored. Is it viable?
Yeah, you know, with Cheers, they'll often put on a cheese and wine in Mumbles Cricket Club. They organise it, and we
Yeah, I know. And then just kind of.
give them a big cash towards it.
Yeah. Or somehow.
Yeah, because they do well, don't they? Yes, you're right, actually. The end of June.
Okay, is this the one at the end of the month? Yeah. There you go.
You could have had the home from that.
Yeah, I agree, in terms of rather than us put the money in.
They know what to do it, and they just yeah.
So that's.
It's not broken white.
Yeah.
So we should just push that back. Speak to Cheers, see how many they do a year. If there's something we can tie in with them.
One of the wine merchant guys stays with me.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
he does. Yeah, he does. Every year. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It'd certainly be nice to do one in November, just before Christmas. I think that's something, for a cheese and wine.
I'd like to see if we did do one associated with some kind of charity, so there was a bit more of a reason for doing it, maybe as a fundraiser or something. So I've just drawn on myself, my T-shirt. Yeah, okay, so we'll push that back. We'll chat. We'll take that further. I'll have a chat with Cheers for Rachel about that. Okay, right. The budget monitoring report you'll see on your agenda is a mistake. It's not supposed to be there, so we're not doing that today. And then moving on to the next item is the raft race, which
So be careful, because it seems like there's a transcript of everything that we're saying is being shown on the screen.
I can get rid of that, hang on, but.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right. Councillor Thomas is chasing the RNLI for us. We need to be in discussions with them now, really. So we're just awaiting that. We can't really go further until we have a meeting.
I've spoken to the Vicar of All Saints, Hugh, who is now the chaplain for the RNLI as well, and he's keen for us to be involved in it and for it to be a bigger event as well. So hopefully that will give some weight to what we want to do.
Brilliant. Amazing. Thank you. Right, on to Mumbles Fest. And I would appreciate all your feedback, and thank you for helping and for being there. Thank you so much to Claire, who absolutely nailed it.
Don't go closed for this.
We can't go close.
Does it say
We're not
closed?
prepared. We haven't done
Right.
it.
So, yeah, it isn't a closed session. So, yeah, just be mindful. But I think on the whole, I would be interested to hear your feedback, what you thought worked, didn't work, Richard.
Well, as we discussed, we were toying ideas in the past on going elsewhere, but I think we're all consensus is keep it as it is, the way it is, works well. Things that need improving. I'm sure it's on our website somewhere, but the no dogs thing needs to be more prominent and needs to be signed up by the entrance.
It is on the website.
Yeah, it needs to be more prominent. And we need to sign up on the day as coming in, no dogs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could do that. It is on the website. And I think the thing is, there's so many small print of like terms and conditions. You don't want to put posters up for everything that you're not allowed to bring in a way. But I mean, yeah, we could do just to save the security saying, again, no dogs, no dogs. I had a couple of texts. Can they bring dogs? But it is on the website. I did see it, but yeah, okay. That's something.
So now, I mentioned it before, is there a file somewhere people can go to where everything for Mumbles Fest can be found?
There's a page online.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, there's all of the licenses and the site map and that was at the festival.
Yeah, everything is in there.
The event, yeah, like medical plans.
So in theory, anyone who could go there, read that and put it on Mumbles Fest.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could add to it, but there's a lot of paperwork that goes with it.
Yeah, but
These are like licenses, event management plans, risk assessments, fire risk assessments, medical plans, security plans, site map, lineup, all of that sort of stuff. It's the documentation that I have to share with a lot of people for Mumbles Fest is that.
What you want? Yeah.
Yeah. Martin.
Well, the only thing I was just going to say, yes, a fantastic event again. Well done to Claire for all the hard work she put into there. I know it was very stressful for her, and all the rest of the staff as well, who worked really hard on the day. The only thing I can think of is some contingency where we lost the online ability to purchase, the card.
You mean on the day?
Yeah, that went down in the early evening, and I think we need some contingency. So if that happens again, we've got some sort of backup, really.
Yeah.
I'm not technical enough to know what the backup would be, because we don't know what the problem was as yet. I did talk to Paul about it yesterday. He said he was going to contact the bank. Whether it was a hardware problem with our card reader, or whether it was something to do with the link between us and the bank. But whichever way, it was very difficult. I was actually on the door at that point, but it was very difficult for people, turning up, because obviously a lot of people don't use cash nowadays. And I just sort of think we need some contingency plan if that happens again. What are we going to do?
I mean, I thought Paul did look into maybe a dongle or something, so that he'd be able to get Wi-Fi up at the castle.
Well, it wasn't a Wi-Fi issue. The Wi-Fi was there, the connection was there, but there was some sort of technical issue, which when I talked to Paul yesterday, he's still not 100% sure what it was. But, if we've got another card reader with another account or something like that, but just some sort of backup.
Yeah, I think the problem was somehow with the connection between the card reader and the bank and the money, and we don't know what that was. It was kind of out of everybody's control. It just went down. It was nothing to do with battery or Wi-Fi. That was ready to go. It wasn't really anything we could have ever preempted happening, because everything was in place. Yeah. So I think you're right. I think what we need is perhaps another card reader connecting to another account.
Exactly.
So that we've got a backup account that you take it, because you'd never think that an account would stop the money going. I don't know, but we just don't know what it is. So until we've done further investigation in that, I haven't spoken to Paul actually, because we've been off on the 2 days that we've been back.
And it does cause a nightmare. I mean, I was in shopping Cardiff the other week, one in Mumbles, and both their card readers also went down, and then they couldn't take any card, which is such a nightmare because we rely so heavily on them now.
Cash is king.
Yeah.
That's true.
So yeah, it is annoying, but yeah, right. So
Well, I think, what Claire said as well, seeing as I am assuming that all the money we take on the door goes into our main MCC account, it may be wise to have one separate just for Mumfest.
That's a good
And it
idea.
goes and we just keep it for that.
yeah.
It's an easier way to track how much we're taking as well.
Out of interest, I don't know whether Claire Martin or if I bring Diane in, who's also working in the office. How did it go with the card? When people were coming in showing their tickets that they pre-bought, that was okay, able to do that through. Perfect.
That works well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what we could maybe advertise next year is, please bring some spare cash, just in, I don't know if we do, if you
I think the thing is, the reality of the situation is nowadays, people come down to Mumbles, they see Mumbles Fest is on. I hear what Rob is saying, cash is king. And, personally, I always carry cash, but a lot of people don't nowadays. And I think we've just got to cover ourselves for that eventuality, really.
Yeah.
we'll definitely look into that though. Good point, Martin.
Yeah.
Would you, for instance, then on Saturday, do people then at the gate go online to buy tickets?
No.
No,
They
couldn't.
Do you know, that's a good point, but I said that to Paul, and Paul tried to, because we took the tickets off sale then earlier on, and you couldn't put them back on sale. It wouldn't allow us to do that with
But-
tickets.
But
we
maybe
did-
that's another solution we could look at, is that people could still buy tickets online,
Yes, we need.
that we don't take it down.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, leave it open.
With the online thing is that we are limited to how many people we can have at the castle.
Okay.
So we shut down early, so to make sure we have a lot of walk-ins on the day. We're not turning away people who've already pre-bought tickets.
That makes perfect sense, yeah.
And I think it's slightly discounted in online and then not on the day. So as in,
Right.
I think that's the reason. Get your tickets in advance is a bit of an encouragement, and we'd like. But then even if we put the price up on the day, but they're still available on the day, to get them through the website would be good.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know who would be able to action this for me, but last night in full council, Carrie wants on the debrief the data of those residents in Mumbles that bought tickets. So living in Mumbles, for
Set up Ticket Source with me, and he's got all the login credentials. So I can speak to Paul and see if we can lift that data and just get it in numbers. As you said, we've got to be very careful with GDPR, so we shouldn't be sharing any data,
Yeah.
but we will be able to use numbers, facts, rather than actual data.
yeah, perfect, thank you.
On that, we know that was raised for political reasons. Yeah.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, it's different to the other topic that was being discussed, because this is actually an event where people are paying to come to. It doesn't
Absolutely.
really matter where they're coming from. They're very welcome to come to Mumbles Fest, and we encourage them to come to Mumbles Fest, hence why we put the banner on the bridge.
Well, this is the Culture Tourism Committee,
Yeah.
and part of tourism is attracting people to Mumbles to events we put on.
Yeah, 100%.
and then, no, they're suggesting that then at the gate, someone could be asking where they're from.
I think that's intrusive.
Do we really want to do that?
No.
Where are you from?
No.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Manpower to do that either.
All I
Hit
can,
the button.
yeah.
Are you from Mumbles? Yes. They can hit.
I mean, in the evening, most of the people there I knew or recognised.
Yeah.
So
Yes, it is.
it is a locally community.
But obviously everybody is.
If it was a free event, I think I'd understand that.
Yeah.
It's not free, you are paying for it. It's a stamp life, yeah.
Yeah, personally, I think the extra marquee in the middle was wonderful to have.
Yeah.
We predicted, the weather said it's going to be terrible weather, but it wasn't actually. It was okay.
Yeah.
But we had that.
You know,
Saturday.
if we hadn't had the weather warnings, we'd have had more people.
Absolutely, but there were one or two moments where it showered a little bit, and I think we kept everybody that we had there because of having the marquee and the extra picnic tables. Loads of people came on and said, so I never think there was enough. Yeah, I love that. And I thought the lineup was great. I thought there was a mix of Welsh and English, female, male. I really enjoyed the lineup.
Yeah, it was great.
And yeah, they enjoyed doing it as well. So yeah, that's from me.
Couple of things I'd like to just go on about. I mean, yeah, unfortunately, we are weather dependent. It was a great day. I would also like to thank all our staff, but particularly Claire, for all the work, and Paul with the finances on it that they do, because they really are two of the people which are the backbone of this festival and this event, that make, without who it wouldn't go on. It just simply wouldn't happen. So can we minute that, please, Ian? Also, you know, because we are weather dependent, we may not have had as many up there as we've had on the sunnier ones we've done, but it was still a fantastic day. I think everybody enjoyed it. I haven't heard any complaints at all about it. When it comes to the lineup, I thought it was actually really refreshing that we had some new people as well. I thought that the Ali Mish was just such a bundle of fun and got the crowd going. And if we can get her back again before she goes mega, that would be excellent. Luke, the George Ezra, lovely guy, wrong time of night for that sort of music. I think that's more suited to the afternoon because it's more sit and chill and listen rather than getting people. We saw it happen when the ABBA girls got up all of a sudden and then it's back down again. So you want to build up with that. Kate Westall's choir, I want to hear Kate sing, not mums holding babies. I think that she is such a great performer with such a lovely voice that we do ourselves an injustice to not have showcase her as a performer. A lot of these people I can't comment on until I see the figures of how much they cost to see how much value I think they brought. I thought the two guys were great from Mac Events. Maybe not twice, but certainly really good performers, and everybody enjoyed them. The one thing I'm worried about is I think we've opened up a can of worms by having a local band headline, because I had somebody from another local band saying, well, when are we going to headline? They've headlined. And for me, the ethos of Mumfest has always been to try and get local people in the day, have local people as warm-up bands, but have somebody from outside of the area to headline. So it makes it feel special that this isn't somebody you're going to see in the pub or the park or whatever this is. So that's the only thing we might have opened up a little bit of can of worms with. But the Gowtones were fab. You know, I'm not criticising any of the musical acts because I thought they were all excellent. The choirs were great. Maybe just 2 choirs would be in future enough of that sort of thing to sort of maybe get the day started moving along a bit faster and stuff like that. But no, I mean, I applaud you on all the work you've done on as well as chair of this and on Mumfest. I thought it was a lovely day. We certainly enjoyed ourselves.
Thank you. I think it was a really good day, and I love the variety of it all. I'd like to see next year all the schools partake in it and do a choir all together. And I think that would be really nice if they could all join forces and do that. But yeah, I loved all of it. And, you know, with regards to the headline act being local or not local, I think that could be up for discussion every year, as in, you know, it's who's available, when they're available. And arguably sometimes there's more people there in the afternoon than there is maybe in the evening.
Yeah.
Different people come and go. So
Weather dependent as well.
yeah, exactly. Martin, did you want to come in?
No, sorry.
Perfect. Okay, the next item on the agenda was St David's Day. And again, just there is some budget there for St David's Day. So it's just being mindful of thinking what we can do for St David's Day, big or small. Has anyone got any ideas? And it's worth kind of even just to go away, think about it, and then come back at the next session.
So St David's Day next year, I've just checked, it's on Sunday. So the schools would do their concerts probably on the Friday before, expect.
Yeah.
My experience makes you. It's a long time ago, school concerts. Now, we really want to do a St. David's Day concert. That's the first thing. And like you say, we do something on stream or playing through the streets, maybe a Sunday.
It doesn't even have to be a concert. It could be like we did the 10 days, you know, getting businesses involved for 10 days to do something. It could be kind of like some St. David's Day, Welsh produce, something like that. Yeah, it could be, you know, last we did a slight Welsh slant of the coffee and cake. It could,
I mean, what we've done in the past is just, last couple of years, I think we've just put some daffodils and Welsh cakes in coffee and cake and made it slightly more
Yeah.
Welsh with some bunting.
And they've had the choir.
But what, and the local school choirs, so there's been a nod to it. One event we did, which was a lovely event, was we did bring the dragon, but I'm not saying we need to do the dragon again. Down Promenade, and then up, and we had the PCSOs escort the dragon up with the children, and then we put on Tucker's Butchers and put their gazebo in the forecourt and did free hot dogs or burgers for everybody to have free thing. And then we did some cake and squash and I don't know if we did tea and coffee, just maybe Welsh cakes and squash inside, and then we had some Welsh performers on the stage. So that was quite easy, but you could tie that together, maybe park the dragon bit and do a little Welsh craft sale and maybe put the burgers outside and then do something nice for the children and have a little choir. It doesn't have to be a major event, but it could be a nice community event.
even if like they do the fair, you know, the markets down there.
Yeah,
Something like that.
with a nod to the Welsh,
Yeah, which would be nice.
Liking that idea, I think basically we've got to think if we're going large scale and outdoors, March is not good weather usually, in like a lion, out like a lamb. And also if it's on a Sunday, you're not going to get the teachers coming out with the schools. What might be possible is a concert, if we work with the church, in All Saints, the biggest church around, get some Welsh artists down, get the schools involved in something like that. That's a good way to include the community and stuff like that. I love the stuff about Welsh produce and having the showcasing our things. The dragon, I would bin the idea. I mean, we've paid so much money on that dragon, and every year they say it's damaged and it's going to cost X thousands of pounds to repair it. And I think that's just money thrown down the drain.
So it's difficult, given that the time of year, if it is Christmas Day, to restore a dragon.
Exactly.
I suppose.
Yeah. And also, nobody wants a road closure on the weekend when they're trying to get in and out of Mumbles. You know, I mean, I know that somebody wanted a couple of years ago to actually close the road and have full-on sort of street market and whatever on a Sunday. People go to church, people go and visit families. They often they'll go to town because and shop because it's the only they're not working. So to annoy and vex our residents by doing the road closure, I don't think is fair on them. It's not going to win us any favours.
Yeah. Well, I think Welsh produce and encouraging people to spend in the local shops. Everyone a bit off piece a little bit. I know people have done similar things. Here's Mumbles Pound. They could buy the pound big value of that, if you like, they pay 90p for it. So we subsidise that, and then local shops will accept it. And that be done for St. David's Day or for the period of March, if you like, to boost the trade locally.
Well, like what we've done, Ange, with the May Madness, what we want to do with the Bath Race and St. David's Day, it's just a great opportunity to get us working with the traders around here and build up that relationship. But it has to be both ways. They have to meet us and be prepared to maybe do offers and stuff like that. But it's just a great way to promote the village. And I think,
Yeah, so maybe we'll explore the potential of, you know, some March Madness event, St. David's Day kind of offers, and then also maybe a concert. Do you sound of the schools?
we could sound out the schools. I mean,
Because
I'm sure.
then whatever they perform would be a little practice ground for the Mumbles Festival, so they've done one or two songs ready.
It could be indeed. But I think it's a nice way, you know, if we do a concert and we get most of the schools involved, just to do a little bit in it, but you're going to get the bums on seats because all the parents and grandparents are going to go to that. And doing the day before St David's Day is no problem with that.
Yeah.
What's the nearest Middle Voice Choir? Is it Dunford?
Dunford, I don't think we'd go for the nearest, we'd go for the best. And I'm not going to comment on that now.
Right then, are we? That's the end of the agenda. I think that brings us to the end of the agenda. Maybe if we could put on the next agenda an update with Richard and Martin for the event that you want to do in October.
Yeah.
We could do.
Richard.
And then there was going to be no meeting in August. Remember?
Yeah.
We'll meet again
July.
15th of July, 6:30 p.m.
Good evening.
On that.
Good. Oh, hang on, so
Epileptic mouse, isn't it?
it's just a pain.
Same